2025 was definitely the worst like year of my life, absolutely. My husband passed in January 25, and yeah, it was just horrendous. Like, it's just, you just never anticipated. This is not how I ever thought my motherhood journey would go.
No.
And then it sort of dawned upon me, oh my goodness, I've got to tell a 1 and 4-year-old that their daddy, their hero, their life, their everything has died. And it's like, how do you do that? When are we ever equipped with the ability, the vocab, the emotion, like
all of it? Where do you start? Where do you start?
Where do you start? And yeah, that was without a doubt the worst day of my life, was telling my kids that he had died. Of course, that will always be the worst moment of my life, is like breaking the hearts of the people who I love most. And that's something I find really hard to come to terms with, is that like everyone who I love most is hurting the most. That's really, really difficult. You come up against so many difficult conversations, because your conversation doesn't finish on that day that you tell that, you know.
No, of course
their
not.
little minds are just adjusting, and I don't even think they understand, you know, of course they don't understand the permanence of it on that day. So it's something we have to consistently revisit, and they're really difficult conversations, but it's actually some of the small things that maybe a full family might, by full, I mean when the two parents are still alive, maybe take for granted. Is like, just a walk to school is triggering. So you see like the dads pulling the kids on the scooters. You even hear like the mum saying, "Daddy will be here to pick you up later."
Oh gosh.
You know, the little ones on the shoulders, you know, like it's so triumphant, isn't it? Riding on your daddy's shoulders. And I feel so heartbroken that, I mean, I feel so heartbroken for them that as soon as they step out of that door, you know, the triggers are already there.
I think that's why I appreciate like you and the way that you talk about your stories, because I think that, especially as a mum, you know, we're not allowed to say certain things and feel certain things, because it really clashes with this image of the good mum that takes everything in her stride and holds herself together and is really selfless, you know. And we're human beings at the end of the day. Of course, we have these really
incredible ones, obviously.
Thank you. I believe that as well.
If my daughters say something, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, is this because of the trauma? It might not be.
Yeah, but you're like hyper vigilant of
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's trying to feel really in tune with it potentially being a knock-on of them losing their father, but it could also just be like just being children, just having having a tantrum, you know. But I think it's that I've sort of lost that liberty.
Oh gosh,
of
completely.
Just fresh, you know, of it just being, you know. It was only yesterday that she like picked up this dandelion and she blew it, and she made a wish. She has done that before, you know, where we've been in a situation where maybe at a kid's birthday party or meeting Santa, where they're like, okay, make a wish. This wish is definitely going to come true. And I'm just like, please don't say that. Because, you know, I know what she's wishing for. I do try and tell her, like, try and keep the wish realistic. But then it's sort of like, why wouldn't that be realistic? And uncomfortable conversations. But it's just sort of motherhood completely altered. You know, I only dream of what it used to feel like to be able to nonchalantly, casually, you know, watch my beautiful girl make a wish. How sweet, how childlike, how innocent. Yeah. And now it's sort of, of course there's still that, but it's a bit gross too.
It's so like layered. I just can't imagine another dimension on top of everything that motherhood brings with it. You've got this layer, like a really big and heavy.
I mean, motherhood is layered in itself,
In
not
itself.
to mention grief.
Yeah,
So
like grief care, like the way you've just phrased that.
Yeah.
It adds like another dimension to the whole thing, like thinking about what their actions and what their words mean in relation to their grief.
Yeah. And I would certainly say their heartbreak is on a different, that almost scares me more than my own.
Yeah.
I almost feel like I could at least deal with my emotions, and because I've got full control, hopefully, on what's going through my mind, so I sort of know where I am. But with them, I'm always second guessing. My heart just breaks for them.
Yeah, of course. It's like it challenges all of your protective instincts
Completely.
as a mum. Like it really pushes up against those, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Because you can't
sure.
protect them from this.
No.
They have to be able to feel that,
Yeah.
but it's really quite devastating.
That's it. All you want to do is protect your child, and you want to keep them safe. You want to keep them healthy, keep them happy. And I've lost the ability to the control of that. And I think, you know, when children grow up, and obviously as you approach, you know, your teen years, do you feel like I've sort of been catapulted into almost the teen years, but dealing with tiny emotions who don't even have the words yet to express how they feel?
That must be, that must be extremely hard.
Yeah.
Because like you've got their feelings as well to kind of hold space for and to navigate and to like consider. But where do your feelings separate from being their mum? Like where do they sit? How do they sit?
I know. One thing that I definitely do is I do cry in front of them. So I want them to know that it is okay to cry, and it's okay to have all these emotions. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be happy. Like it's like have all of them.
I love that.
It doesn't mean that it's easy, and I'm not trying to be like this, you know, perfect parent, because believe me, I have really bad days where it does upset me to see them cry. It does upset me if I see them angry, or you know, it is all really difficult, but I just try and let them see that it is okay to cry, and I'm proud of them for telling me their emotions, and thank you for telling me that you feel that way. Honest, because there might be days when I'm in a really, really, really bad place, like really anxious, so I might not even have tears, and I will conceal that. So I think it's like, it's finding the balance, but even that is just so nuts in itself, that I'm having to come up with all these sort of like quantities. I'm measuring how much of my grief I should show, but it's because I want to protect them whilst also allowing them to sort of see that it is okay to feel like this.
I think that must be really hard. You know, the only part of that I can relate to is like wanting to share and show that you are a human being with feelings, but also like to what extent do they get to see, you know, the realness of it. Completely. And I think it must be really hard with something like grief, which is so hard to explain anyway. As a feeling, how do you begin to like summarize it or capture it, like what it means? And I think like when you have a feeling that you struggle to put in words like that, how do you begin to kind of relay that experience to children who don't even have the words themselves? I think like there's so much of what you're doing is like learning whilst you teach it.
Completely. I've never had to learn more.
You're learning whilst you teach.
You do as a mum anyway.
You do as a mum anyway, but you're doing
you're just expected to like know how to do all these things. And
exactly. You're literally just like learning on your feet like that. But when you're doing it with grief, I can't imagine the like mental gymnastics that you're having to do, and emotional gymnastics that you're having to do to kind of find your way through that experience. It must be really hard.
It's hard. I do like one quote, which is that grief is love with nowhere to go. I know.
Feel like
I'm drowning.
Do you?
Yeah. Not all the time.
Not all the time. You're kind of moving between I'm drowning and I'm keeping it above.
Exactly that. So, you know, for 5 minutes I might feel like, wow, I'm really doing this, and then I just get this pang in my heart, and I have a memory or something triggers me, and I'm back down there again, and
it's messy.
It's very, very messy.
It's messy.
It's very, very messy.
It's just so in line with like everything I talk about motherhood being, I talk a lot about the messy middle of motherhood.
Yes.
And the fact that most of us, like, we're just not one thing or the other. Like you just said, you're not keeping your head above water all the time, but you're not drowning all the time. You're like moving in between these
time, and you don't also have to just be a fighter or euphoric. You can also feel like everything's crumbling around.
Yeah, and that's okay.
And that is okay. Yeah. And it's really important that I show my girls that is okay. They don't have to be strong and courageous.
1,000%.
Being courageous can be being vulnerable and sharing your feelings and talking about your feelings.
Yes, it looks different, doesn't it?
And that's why I thank them when they tell me they're feeling sad. I'm like, thank you for telling me that. Because I don't want... It's messy and it's so many different feelings, and we need to somehow, like, I don't know, harbour them and
like normalize it. I think as part of the human experience, as part of life, like we might not all experience grief in the way that you have, but I think it's it is a human experience.
I think 50% of children under 8 will experience grief.
Wow.
Whether that's a parent, hopefully not, but
a grandparent or
aunt, uncle, or friend.
Wow.
That's a huge. Yes. So why are we as society so afraid of talking about something that is going to inevitably happen to every single one of us?
We're so scared of it.
We're so scared, and I get it. My God, like
as someone who's in it. You're doing it. You're out here in the messy middle, doing it, aren't you? You're in the messy middle. You're in the thick of the messy middle.
Yeah.
Just navigating all of this stuff, and it's like I think you said before, it's never really going to be resolved, is it? Like it's going to be ongoing.
It's ongoing. I think that's one of the things that, like I mentioned, I've been using a charity, and they did make me aware that this is something you are going to have to revisit.
Yeah. Even though we have really different stories and we're living really different lives, we're still out here in this messy middle of motherhood together.
Just trying our best.
Trying our best.
Yeah, trying our best.
Navigating things we didn't see coming. Completely. Like feeling things we never even had the words for.
Completely.
Like I think you were saying earlier, like grief, was even sort of hard to name. How do you summarize that experience? Like, how do you even...
For me, it's like, it feels like a million different emotions that are so specific. So my grief is also so, even if we'd experienced similar things, losing if I met another widow who'd lost their husband, it doesn't mean that our own experience of grief is even the same.
Exactly. And it's just mind-bending how different forms that grief can take as well, because I know that I've experienced grief in motherhood, not as a result of losing a person, but as a result of losing the version of motherhood I imagined.
Completely, exactly. We're all going through some form of it. Yeah.
And it's just it's wild.
Identity. Even your relationships, friendships change.
Friendships was massive for me.
So if you felt that in motherhood, it's even amplified.
I can imagine.
In grief.
I can imagine that.
It's
It's just the friends, I guess, that you imagine might stick around or that might support, or for me, I just imagined all of these friends that I would make when I became a mum.
I know.
And I didn't make them. I didn't find them. There's been grief in that for me too.
Yeah, of course.
And it's looked really different to what grief has looked like for you.
Yeah.
But I think, I love the fact that we're all navigating our own versions of messy motherhood together.
Yeah.
I think that's something that unites and connects us. And
totally.
We're in it together.
Individually, but united,
individually. Like I say that to people all the time. We're mothering apart, completely separate lives, but we are in this together.
It's that feeling of community.
It's that feeling
which is what you're all
it's
about.
The feeling of community. And you're a part of my community.
Oh, thank you. I'm so delighted to be.
I love this chat with you.
Sorry, I just touched your boob right then.
You didn't, but there's no feeling there anymore anyway.